Hello friends, we are in Ecclesiastes chapter 8. Thank you so much for joining me. We are in the wisdom literature of King Solomon right now, and we learn the Proverbs that wisdom, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And wisdom is learning to see things from God's perspective and using that knowledge to live a productive and meaningful life, especially in the sight of God. So let's see what Solomon has to say in chapter 8. How wonderful to be wise, to analyze and interpret things. Wisdom lights up a person's face, softening its harshness. Obey the king since you vowed to God that you would. Don't try to avoid doing your duty, and don't stand with those who plot evil. For the king can do whatever he wants. His command is backed by great power. No one can resist or question it. Those who obey him will not be punished. Those who are wise will find a time and a way to do what is right. For there is a time and a way for everything, even when a person is in trouble. Indeed, how can people avoid what they don't know is going to happen? None of us can hold back our spirit from departing. None of us has the power to prevent the day of our death. There is no escaping that obligation, that dark battle. And in the face of death, wickedness will certainly not rescue the wicked. I have thought deeply about all that goes on under the sun, where people have the power to hurt each other. That's so sad. I have seen wicked people buried with honor, yet they were the very ones who frequented the temple and are now praised in the same city where they committed their crimes. This too is meaningless. When a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong. But even though a person sins 100 times and still lives a long time, I know that those who fear God will be better off. The wicked will not prosper, for they do not fear God. Their days will never grow long like the evening shadows. And this is not all that is meaningless in our world. In this life, good people are often treated as though they were wicked. And wicked people are often treated as though they were good. This is so meaningless. So I recommend having fun, because there's nothing better for people in this world than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way, they will experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives them under the sun. In my search for wisdom and in my observation people's burdens here on earth, I discovered that there is ceaseless activity day and night. I realize that no one can discover everything God is doing under the sun. Not even the wisest people discover everything, no matter what they claim. Very true, right? I want to say true that. But Ecclesiastes chapter 9, death comes to all, Solomon's final conclusion. This too I carefully explored. Even though the actions of godly and wise people are in God's hands, no one knows whether God will show them favor. The same destiny ultimately awaits everyone, whether righteous or wicked, good or bad. Ceremonially clean or unclean, religious or irreligious. Good people receive the same treatment as sinners, and people who make promises to God are treated like people who don't. It seems so wrong that everyone under the sun suffers the same fate, already twisted by evil. People choose their own mad course, for they have no hope. There is nothing ahead but death anyway. There is hope only for the living, as they say. It is better to be a live dog than a dead lion. The living at least know they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward, nor are they remembered. Whatever they did in their lifetime, loving, hating, envying, it's all long gone. They no longer play part in anything here on earth. So go ahead, eat your food with joy, drink your wine with a happy heart, for God approves of this. Wear fine clothes with a splash of cologne. Live happily with the woman you love through all the meaningless days that life has given you under the sun. The wife God gives you is your reward for all your earthly toil. Whatever you do well, for when you go to the grave, there will be no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom. I have observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race. And the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not necessarily wealthy. And those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It is all decided by chance and being in the right place at the right time. People can never predict when hard times might come. Like fish in a net or birds in a trap, people are caught by sudden tragedy. Here's another bit of wisdom that has impressed me as I have watched the way our world works. There was a small town with only a few people, and a great king came with his army and besieged it. A poor, wise man knew how to save the town, and so it was rescued. But afterward, no one thought to thank him. So even though wisdom is better than strength, those who are wise will be despised if they are poor. What they say will not be appreciated for long. Better to hear the quiet words of a wise person than the shouts of a foolish king. Better to have wisdom than weapons of war, but one sinner can destroy much that is good. Amen to that. So there are people that think that the book of Ecclesiastes is very depressing. And I would agree, sometimes I think that it is, because I do like to see the joy and good in life. It helps me to have a happier, more positive outlook in my day. And it also helps me to have joy and peace and gladness in my heart when I communicate with others, when I work, when I speak to my family and my loved ones. But I think it's also nice to step back and look at this and say, everything is meaningless except for what is done for God. Everything that we do for ourselves and in our own selfish ambition will be lost. But everything that is done for God will last forever. So when you do something, do it all for the glory of God. Whether you are eating or drinking or being merry, when you are sad, when you are happy, everything that you do, when it's done for the glory of God, it will be blessed, even when you don't see it. Because wicked is seen by God. What we do in the darkness, God has it in His light. There's nothing that goes unnoticed by God. And if you fear the Lord, you can think about that throughout the day. When you do an act of kindness and no one rewards you, God sees what you are doing. When you have temptation in your heart, God knows the temptations that you're going through. He knows the number of hairs on your head. He knows when you're mourning. He knows when you're heartbroken. And God desires a relationship with you. So if you give unto the Lord. If you take unto the Lord. Be gracious and with thanksgiving and gladness of heart, and trust that God is in control and that He has great plans. And when you commit your ways to the Lord, just know that those plans will prosper in the best of hands of God. Doesn't mean that things are going to go your way. It doesn't mean that you're not going to suffer. It doesn't mean that things are going to not feel meaningless, but God is in control, and I can find peace in that. I hope you can too. So God bless, and thank you so much again for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.